Welcome in to another edition of the Dudley Hilton Show, where we talk University of Pikeville Bears football. I'm Andrew Joyce, your host, joined by the coach of the University of Pikeville Bears. He retired from high school coaching as the winningest coach in Kentucky. He now has over 350 career wins, and he is 2-0 on the young season. He is our coach, the head coach. Some call him Papa Bear if they dare. Dudley Hilton, head coach of our University of Pikeville Bears. Coach, 2-0, it's got to be a good feeling.
Yeah, anytime you can go back to Campbellsville and win twice in your career, and that's down there close to my hometown. So I had a lot of family down there, but I couldn't figure out why we went back. But now I know we went back to get another win. So that was well worth the trip going back to back down to Campbellsville.
We've got a great show in store tonight. We talk about a win over Campbellsville. We'll take a look at some of those highlights. A couple of guests defensively. Taylor Woods. He's been tremendous through 2 games this season. Also, Shantez Johnson, one of the leading receivers for this University of Pikeville team. And we'll talk again with one of the coaches in the Bears Den, Coach Dane Brown. He is the defensive coordinator and recruiting coordinator for this squad. Coach will also preview Lindsey Wilson. It's a team you owe a couple to. The last couple of times out, it's been tough, and I know that will be on the minds of folks. We'll talk about that coming up as well, but right now, let's talk about Campbellsville. It was a game, you go on the road, coming off Bluefield. Week 1's in the books, a chance to correct mistakes. And Campbellsville, a team that you could scout a little better than Bluefield. Obviously, we didn't know much about the Rams going in, but Campbellsville, a very familiar team. Your thoughts, grade the Bears on a road win?
Well, I just really didn't know what to expect. We didn't really play very well against Bluefield. We made a lot of mental mistakes and wasn't where we were supposed to be, and didn't know how much we could grow from one week to the next. And I really thought we corrected a lot of mistakes. I challenged the coaches to take the game film and hopefully that we could use it to help us beat Campbellsville, because Campbellsville, this was their first game. They didn't have the open game, so we didn't have a film to watch, but we took the last year's film, and they did a whole lot of what they did last year. And Campbellsville is a very established football program, and they wasn't going to change a lot because we kind of figured that out. But they was a very disciplined football team. They had a very good offense and defensive line, and we just really got after them. Our defense probably played the best game since I've been here, as far as from the start to finish, and they played well all night long, and just made some things happen. But on a whole, we really got after them. We played with a lot of confidence. Last year we folded our tents on a few close games, but this game right here, we just really tightened our belts up and played. We just kept answering the call. The defense did, and I'm just really proud of our defensive team and the whole team in general, because you gotta put points on the board to win also. So we was able to put 2 touchdowns on the board.
Got some points on the board, and then your defense made it stick, and it was a tremendous defensive effort. We'll take a look at some highlights tonight. Of course, last week there were some offensive highlights. We had several of those, and I've had a sneak preview of the highlights. There are some tremendous defensive efforts. One of those guys that'll join us a little later in the Bears Den, Taylor Woods, he's one of those guys that had a standout game as well. And, of course, we'll hear from his coach as well. Coach grades the film. I'm not sure, he may not think as highly of the performance. Those coaches, they're always tough, always seem to find something that wasn't quite up to snuff. But, Coach, your grade of this team, the improvement from week 1 to week 2, were you pleased with the effort?
Yeah, we made a good improvement. We're not there yet. We're just not there. We're just there's some things we're still not doing right, and we just need to keep working on it. We made some dumb plays that first graders make in playing football, and we've got to be smarter in what we are. And I told the coaches today in the coaches meet, we can't tell them one time, we can't tell them 2, we got to tell them 100 times or 1,000 times. That's what it takes, to they learn this game. And again, but we played a lot better. As far as the grade things, we've done a lot better. But we're still not there. We still got to improve. We still got to work cut out for us. And this is a tough league every week. And we just can't sit back on our haunches. We have got to improve, and hopefully I think my coaching staff's really working hard to get us improving.
2-0, 14-7, the win over Campbellsville. You have a chance to go back to your neck of the woods, and I would imagine a lot of family there at Campbellsville.
Yeah, all my grandkids was there, and all my kids, 3 kids, all was there, and my brother and his bunch, and I think they had a big time driving their U-Pike van in. But it was a great place to go win. And Perry Thompson does a great job at Campbellsville. Campbellsville is, to me, and I, when in the high school days, just looking at the NAIA team or the Mid-South Conference, Campbellsville was always, to me, at the top of the list, and along with Georgetown and Cumberland, probably my 3 that I would recognize as a top team. So, it's coming in here and taking University of Pikeville and going to Campbellsville twice and beat them. And they were like 12-4 last year. I mean, not 12-4, but they were like 8-4. And they, so they end up having a great season last year. And again, I think we beat another good quality football program. And again, that's what that's what we're trying to do: beat some of these good guys that's had the upper edge on everybody else.
I think you got some folks' attention. Campbellsville ranked number 25 in the country in the preseason rankings. You go to their place, you get a win. That's big in the Mid-South Conference to win any game on the road. Your team comes back home this Saturday. How big is that?
Oh, it's real big. We played the first 2 games last year at home and won both of them. Then we had to go on the road and got beat. Now we've gone on the road and won 2, and I just feel like we've got to use it. We got to get a home field advantage, and some reason or other we struggled a little bit last year to get in that, and we got to find a way to our kids have a better home outing. We've got to use our fans, our band, our cheerleaders, our everything we can to give our kids the upper edge to play at home and have that home field advantage.
Need a good atmosphere Saturday. It's a 1:30 kickoff as the Bears will host, of course, Lindsey Wilson Saturday at the Hambly Athletic Complex. We're on the air at 1:10 with complete coverage as the Bears celebrate the home opener. Coach, we're going to take a look at highlights in just a bit. Also, a couple of guests coming up on tonight's show. We'll preview Lindsey Wilson. We'll recap Campbellsville with the highlights. And I know you'll be impressed by some of the highlights. And one of our guests, actually both of our guests, they play key roles in the highlights. You're tuned to the Dudley Hilton Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. We're talking University of Pikeville football, and we'll be back right after this.
I made a good living in southeastern Kentucky because I earned a bachelor's degree, but I had to go to Lexington to get it. Now, thanks to the Cole County College Completion Scholarships, you can complete your bachelor's degree at the University of Pikeville main campus at a price comparable to a state university. Or if you want to stay at home, go to a U-Pike Extension campus in your hometown at a cost comparable to community college tuition. It's your scholarship, your time, your university.
Welcome back into the Dudley Hilton Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. We talk University of Pikeville football, and of course the Bears coming off a 14-7 win over Campbellsville on the road in the Mid-South Conference. And close game, hard-fought defensive game. Regardless, you take wins on the road in the Mid-South Conference, especially against tradition-rich programs like Campbellsville. Coach Dudley Hilton, we're going to take a look at some highlights now. Defense played a key role in this game, and one of the first highlights we'll see, I think, set the tone for the entire afternoon in Campbellsville. Let's go there now.
Yeah, again, our defense really started getting after them. I think the first play here, Dorsey Norton and Taylor Woods really crams him back there in the backfield, and really, like you said, set the whole tone. We wasn't there for fun, so we was there to beat their tails again.
Very aggressive.
And
bad snap here.
Yeah, and that's where Roy Spain, our outside linebacker, was able to come in there and you see Campbellsville's gone up on us 7-0.
Yeah.
But, we get a good break there. Here comes Trevor. I think he's going to hit Shantez Johnson right there. And Shantez, he knows what to do with the ball, and you can see right there he's trying to pull away and get that extra yard for us. And they double teamed him a lot.
Big third down play, needed that conversion and got it. This time Trevor with the read off the right side. He's still got some quickness about him, and I thought he evaded tacklers very well.
Yeah, we just need that more out of Trevor, and that was a good run for him right there.
Of course, Trevor with the long game down close. Now Hunter Adams, he'll punch it in.
Yeah, you can see Hunter, he knows how to put those shoulders. He knows to go north and south, and he knows where the end zone. You can tell he's been there before.
That's right. Another defensive standout play right here.
Yeah,
Taylor Woods, look at
Taylor
that.
Woods. What can you say? He's the leader of our defense, and he's been around as long as anybody over there. I think it's his third year, and he's a dandy. And here goes another big catch for Shantez Johnson, and you can tell that he can't, you get the ball up there to him.
He goes up over the defensive back. See, he's tough to handle. In the Mid-South Conference, you better find a DB that's taller than 5'8".
Here Trevor makes a good read and able to pull it and get his yardage again, and again, that's what we expect out of our senior quarterback, to make the proper call, make the proper read, and he did that time.
Big yardage there, and then of course the game tied at 7 at this point, and Trevor with a nice shot to Johnson. Then Shantez, he powered his way into the end zone there, broke a tackle, then drug another player into the end zone with him.
Again, he shows he's been there before, and he knows where the end zone's at, A lot of these kids don't know where it's at, Andrew.
That's right. They'll get there eventually.
Right.
Big defensive stop right there.
Big defense. This Ross kid played a heck of a job. We played him at defensive tackle last week, and here he gets another fumble there, but that's Roy Spain again. Our linebacker did a good job right there.
Ross got a sack a moment ago and had a player tackle him wrapped around his waist. Here's Hunter Adams. He abused the tackler on that play. Potential tackler came up, and Hunter just lowered the shoulder.
Here's a big play here. This is a big third down play that Zeke White. Zeke just give it all he had. After the game, he was dehydrated, and we had to get IV to him, but he just played a heck of a game.
Got great balance.
Here's Taylor Woods, makes his boys to throw the ball out of bounds. That was intentional grounding, give us a big play, and Taylor's just got the arms and he's got the strength to go after him.
Got a nose for the football.
Right. Dorsey Norton again, just a great job, and got to expect a lot out of him.
You see a dejected Campbellsville offensive line.
Yeah.
They were whipped up front.
Yeah. And again, you can see right there, good double team by Ross, and look like John Dudley's in there, and Roy again.
How about your special teams?
You can't ask a better punt right here. Watch it make this boy back up. Hunter Adams coming down there nonstop. That's the same man that's been running the football. He goes on both sides of the ball right there. Makes a big play.
Big play, changed the field right there.
There's your Ross boy again, handling the line of scrimmage. Got that 71, see him right there going sideways, just makes him all go in the secondary. But that hurts right there.
Campbellsville quarterback, he was wishing he had thrown it away a few seconds earlier.
There's a big Watson boy up top. No, I don't think that's him. That's back inside there. No, that's Chris Watson. Makes a heck of a hit right there.
Stayed home.
He stuns that boy right there.
Then
this late in the game, look at this pressure he puts on this quarterback, and he just all arms and legs. He just takes off after him.
Strong one arm brought him down.
Then he came late in the game. Josh Salmons coming off a knee injury, came in late in the game, and makes a big play right here to saves the game for us, knocks the ball out of his hand, and this is probably the best play in the game right here, especially on the road, where you can just step back and kneel it down. That's number one play. That's the play you look for, Andrew.
You like that victory formation?
I like that victory formation. It don't take much coaching to do that at the end,
That's right. Pike 14, Campbellsville 7. That's the final, and the Bears go to 2-0 on the young season. Coach, we've talked about Campbellsville. We'll preview Lindsey Wilson coming up in just a little bit. Want to talk about some guests. Of course, tonight, your defensive coordinator, recruiting coordinator, Dane Brown. He's one of our guests tonight. What does Dane Brown do for the Dudley Hilton program?
Well, I think Dane and we're all on the same page, Andrew. We're trying to get this University of Pikeville football program going in the right direction. He's a Kentucky boy, and I'm a Kentucky boy, and Al Holland's offensive coordinator, he's a Kentucky boy. Just about something living in Kentucky and coaching at a college in Kentucky. We all got the same goal. We want this to be the best football program in the state of Kentucky, and especially in our league. And right now, Dane works, burn the midnight oil on and puts in the time it takes to get the defensive going, and and just he's a workaholic, and that's what you need. And I'm just very impressed the way he works, and he's easy to talk around to and get some things across. And it's one thing I think about my two coordinators. I'm high on both of them. They both do a great job, and very true to our university, and that's what you want.
I know you are, and you also have to like the fact that Dane Brown's defensive unit's only given up 14 points in the last 5 quarters.
Well, you can't beat that. I didn't realize that. Sometimes but the defense it's always got pressure on them.
Sure.
Other night we played our hearts out all game, but we could have waited to the last play, and that boy could have caught the ball, and then it could have been a defensive foul. So it's a never-ending world for the defensive side, but you got to have both. If you don't have defense, you can forget beating other people, and just like offense, you got to have offense too, but you got to also have that defense. And I'm very proud of what Coach Brown and his defense unit has done.
Dudley Hilton coach teams have had a reputation over the years that they'd smack you in the mouth. They would be aggressive, and you'd know that you'd been in a football game when you play a Dudley Hilton team. This team Saturday against Campbellsville, they seemed to look like that, much more aggressive it seemed.
Oh, yeah, I really thought we played a more smash-mouth football game as far as getting after them on our special teams. We didn't look hardly as good on the special teams we did against Bluefield, but we've worked on some things this week and going to get better than that. But I think our enthusiasm is we just got to keep turning it up. We're again, I told you at the beginning of the show, we're not there yet. We got to keep turning that radio volume up, and that's what we got to do on this football team.
If this team was where you want them to be in week 2, you'd be real concerned, or week 3, you'd be real concerned, wouldn't you?
Right, and again, we still got a lot of young kids. We still got
Sure.
a lot of improvement to do, and the challenge of just getting better. We've got to get better, Andrew. There's no question about that. Coach Holland knows that. Coach Brown knows that. As long as my coordinators know that, and then it makes the head coach a lot better because I know they're working at it.
We'll talk a little more about this week's practice preparing for Lindsey Wilson. Also, I'll get your thoughts on a couple of players that are guests later, and we'll get the scouting report on Lindsey Wilson as well. You're tuned to the Dudley Hilton Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. The Bears coming off a 14-7 win over Campbellsville. Looking forward to Lindsey Wilson this weekend. When we come back, a guest in the Bears Den. We'll talk with defensive coordinator and recruiting coordinator Dane Brown. It's U-Pike football. It's the Dudley Hilton Show. We're back right after this. Welcome back to the Dudley Hilton Show. We're talking University of Pikeville Bears football, and joined now in the Bears Den by Dane Brown, defensive coordinator, recruiting coordinator with the University of Pikeville Bears, and U-Pike coming off a 14-7 win. As the defensive coordinator, you gave up 7 points, and that's got to make you feel good. I don't care who you're playing in the Mid-South Conference.
It does, and especially when you consider the fact that we've given up a lot of points last year. It was nice to give up 7 and play well and be able to get people off the field on third down especially.
We'll get back to that game in just a minute. Of course, we've talked before. We've talked on prior editions of the Dudley Hilton Show, but for someone that's just tuning in, new to the program, let's talk about Dane Brown's background, your coaching background, and then let's talk about how you arrived here and the changes since Dudley Hilton arrived.
Well, a lot of people know I'm originally from Eastern Kentucky. Was a head coach at McGough County High School for 6 seasons. Was at some other schools in Eastern Kentucky as a coordinator and assistant coach. Johnson Central, Powell County. Was a high school head coach and coordinator in Florida for several years, and was most recently the head coach at Harmony High School down in Central Florida before coming up here to join Coach Hilton and his staff. So.
I think back in 2009, may have won a Florida 4A Coaches Association Coach of the Year award.
Yes, sir.
Has to be something that you're very proud of.
Well, just like we are here, just proud of my players. I mean, any accolades that we get are direct results of people we work with and the players we coach. So,
Coach Dudley Hilton, winningest high school coach in the Commonwealth when he retired. He's legendary. And what does Dudley Hilton bring to the U-Pike program?
I think he brings a depth of knowledge that is just, it's kind of hard to match. I mean, I think we can all say as players and coaches that, I was telling him the other day, we learn something from him every day. And it's often a perspective that's different than a lot of other people. And, you come in from a 14-7 win, and he can still pick out little things that we're not doing well that we need to improve on to take the next step and not be a mediocre defense, a mediocre team, but championship caliber defense or championship caliber team. I think that's what he does. That's the way he sees things.
Don't want to overstate the obvious, but with 350 wins, I think it goes without saying he's an old school coach.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He's, the way we conduct our practices and the way we run meetings and things in our offices, everything's quote-unquote old school. So.
Defensive guy. I talked with Coach Hilton. In his high school days, his team had a reputation of being smash mouth. They're going to hit you in the mouth. You're going to know you played a football game. Saw that out of U-Pike on Saturday with Campbellsville, maybe more so in that game than I'd seen in the last 2 years. Did you take that same impression?
I think so. I think we're definitely becoming more physical. I think it has to do with our players. The way we practice against our offense obviously helps us. The fact that our offense is really doing a good job running the ball in practice helps us as well. And I think anytime you run the ball and try to stop the run in practice, you're going to be more physical naturally.
Obviously, you're the defensive guy. We want to talk about that defensive effort against Campbellsville. If you go into the Mid-South Conference, obviously you're going to want a shutout. That's going to be your goal as a defensive guy. You don't want to give up points, but you give up 7 in the Mid-South Conference on the road. It's a good defensive effort, if not great. Let's talk about some outstanding performances from some of your players this past weekend. We saw some on the highlights. Taylor Woods, outstanding. Chris Watson seems to still be evolving. Chris Ross had a big day as well.
Absolutely. I think we can name, like you said, several guys who did a good job and stepped up all in key situations. And that's the thing that we need to do more of is understand that, those second longs and third longs and crucial situations are where we have to make those plays. Taylor did a great job. And Taylor's really indicative of the kind of person we want to have on our team and the kind of people we want to recruit. He's an excellent young man as well as an excellent football player. So he's one of our leaders, and our guys all kind of feed off of him and follow him.
Seems like the defensive unit, every game we see someone step up, make an outstanding play. How many guys in your 11-man at any given moment unit, they seem to have a nose for the football? And a lot of times you'll see teams that don't have that, but you seem to have several on your defensive side.
We do, and I think that it's just the fact that we have guys who are more experienced this year. We played a lot of young guys last year. A couple of times last year we were starting 8, 9 freshmen. Right. And so we're just a more experienced ball club. And things that people do to us, our guys have seen it before. And, they're a year stronger and a year faster, and those kind of things don't hurt either. So
seemed to win the battle of the trenches against Campbellsville. Is that what you took away after watching the game film?
I think that Campbellsville has one of the better offensive lines that we'll face all year. And I think our guys up front, the front 7, front 8 guys did a very good job. And, that's a credit to our coaching staff. Coach Rabluski does a great job with those guys, and, Coach Brookins coaching the linebackers. So they definitely played well. We have to get a lot better this week, but definitely showed a lot of improvement.
What kind of challenges will Lindsey Wilson present for you defensively?
Well, Lindsey Wilson can do so many things to you, and they can, they throw so many different formations at you. They screen you to death, and in a short passing game, they have a very poised quarterback who is a good leader and can do a lot of things to you. So I think they're just very balanced and very experienced. I mean, they've had a lot of guys who are 3-year starters now, and I think they have a good command of their offense. So
you prepare for Lindsey Wilson, and you mentioned last year starting 8 or 9 freshmen. A little more experience this year. You don't have the 3- and 4-year starters, but a little more experience than last year.
Sure.
How does that change the way you prepare for any team defensively? Can you put together a more complicated scheme?
I think it changes things two ways. And one is you can be a little more complex in the things you're asking your guys to do, and the second thing it does for you is your guys are better fundamentally, just naturally, by going through the practices and being better tacklers, being better in coverage, being better pursuing the ball, those kind of things. So I think we've definitely improved in those areas.
UPike coming off a 14-7 win over Campbellsville on the road in the Mid-South Conference. Talking with Dane Brown, the defensive coordinator and recruiting coordinator with the University of Pikeville Bears. One of your defensive guys we'll have coming up in just a little bit, Taylor Woods. And also we'll go to the offensive side with Shantez Johnson. Both of those guys got here by being recruited. As a recruiting coordinator at the University of Pikeville, how tough was it for you this past year, coming off Dudley Hilton's first year and showing a lot of success early in the season, in particular last year? Did players realize Pikeville was there now? Had it been on the map, and was it a school that players were more interested in learning more about?
I think that, with the arrival of Coach Hilton, and obviously Coach Holland does a great job, and everybody on our staff, I think that our school has a brand now that people recognize throughout the state. So I don't think it's hard at all. I think, the improvements in the facilities, the job that all the administration does at our school, I think we're a recognizable institution, and you can, athletics as a whole at our school. And, the main thing with our recruiting is just the type of people that we're looking for. Not only great football players or, whatever the sport may be, but we're trying to bring the right kind of people into our town, our community, and our school.
The Hoops Athletic Facility, dedicated last month, just weeks ago, and you had already begun preseason work. How will that help in the off-season program and as a recruiting tool?
I think it's going to have a tremendous impact. I mean, everyone who comes in is definitely impressed. To have a place where we can meet, from our offices, our meeting rooms, the indoor facility, the weightlifting, facility, all those things just have an impact on recruits and their families. So I think it's going to be immeasurable.
Program's growing up in a hurry.
Absolutely.
Just like the university and just like Dane Brown's defensive unit. Impressive outing against Campbellsville. We'll look for another one with Lindsay at home. Let's pitch a shutout Saturday.
Absolutely.
You good with that?
That sounds good.
That's Dane Brown, defensive coordinator, recruiting coordinator at the University of Pikeville, coming off a 14-7 win over Campbellsville. We'll step out and take a break. When we come back, we'll talk to one of the defensive players. Taylor Woods next in the Bears Den. It's the Dudley Hilton Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless.
So you're finishing your studies at a community college in southeastern Kentucky. Most people believe they have to pack up and leave home to get an affordable bachelor's degree. Good thing you're not most people. Stay home and finish your education at the University of Pikeville. You can even complete your degree at the community college campus you've already been attending. It's your time, your university. You're already so close. UPike. Visit k4cs.upike.edu for more information and eligibility requirements.
Welcome back in. The Dudley Hilton Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. Andrew Joyce, and now we step into the Bears Den, where we meet another one of the University of Pikeville Bear players, joined now by Taylor Woods, a 6'3", 220-pound junior out of Florida. Taylor, welcome to the Dudley Hilton Show. You come from Florida, Florida high school product, known for great football in the state of Florida. Let's talk about Taylor Woods. Your background, maybe the first time you put pads on, and talk about your playing days before arriving here.
I started about 87 and just come up. And Mama, she had us, and me and my brother, in every sport imaginable. We was playing football, soccer, gymnastics, swimming team, all the way up. And I played a little bit linebacker and DN in high school, and then when I got up here, they started me at linebacker, and then they moved me to defensive end, and I've been there ever since.
Got a nose for the football.
I try to.
So you know what's going on the defensive side, but I want to back up for just a minute. I'm not sure how many of your teammates know that you worked in gymnastics growing up.
Yeah, well, it was like 2 years, a little bit.
Got a little back handspring, got a little flip for us?
A little cartwheel.
Can we, just a cartwheel, just a cartwheel. But don't get into a swimming competition with you.
Yeah.
So football is where you've landed, and you've landed at the University of Pikeville. How did Taylor Woods arrive in Pikeville? Talk about the recruitment. how you got from Florida, Taylor County High School, to the University of Pikeville.
Well, I had a good high school coach and a good senior year, and we put the film on YouTube. And Pikeville College at the time, they saw me, they called me and wanted me to come up here for a recruiting trip. And so came up here, and I seen a lot of potential because we had a new president, the governor.
Right.
And I seen a lot of potential, and so I came here, and it's been good. Treated me good.
It's a long way from Perry, Florida.
Yes, sir. About
What did you
12
know
hours.
What did you know about Pikeville before that trip here?
Not much. Not much. I had a offer in Florida, but I figured, I wanted to see the mountains, so I came here.
Something a little different. 12
Yeah.
hours from home. How's that been?
A lot of sacrifices, but here to win. So, yes, sir.
Team certainly headed in the right direction. Let's talk about Taylor Woods now, the student, because we talk about student athletes, and student comes first. What's your major? What do you plan to do after graduation? What are some career goals?
I'm majoring in business right now, and I come from a small town, not much to do, so entrepreneur, get something fun, something to do in my little town.
Gonna change your hometown.
Yes, sir.
That's what it's all about. As we talk University of Pikeville football, Taylor Woods, you may have noticed during the highlight video earlier, Taylor Woods, that 48, it was in a large amount of those highlights. Talk about the Campbellsville game. This is a team that is tradition-rich in the conference. Offensive line, they're known as one of the best in the conference. And defensively, your unit seemed to wear Campbellsville out up front.
Mm-hmm. Well, we had a good game plan, and we made a lot of good adjustments during the game. When we came into the game, we knew that we had to be really good at boxing and spilling, which is a certain way the D-line and linebackers take on blocks.
Sure.
And we knew when we did that and executed it well, we'd come out with a win.
Depending on the offensive scheme, Campbellsville obviously different than Bluefield, but we see you as the leading tackler. That's where you sit currently on the season. John Dudley Hilton as a linebacker. He's been the leading tackler in a couple of games. Does it depend on what the offense is giving, that who might be the leading tackler on a given game?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I think so. A lot of times during the Campbellsville game, my tackle, he would block down, and I'd be the spiller, so I'd run down the line, and not a lot of blocking for me right there. And so I guess they didn't think I was that fast or something, so I'd get there. And
big mistake to leave Taylor Woods unblocked. I've seen that over the last couple of years enough to know that. Let's talk about Taylor Woods. So far, 14 tackles, 3 tackles for loss this year, 8 solo tackles. It's tied for the team lead, and you've also got a couple of sacks. Let's talk about Taylor Woods, the goals for you personally, and the goals for this defensive unit the rest of the way.
Just put pressure on the quarterback, help our secondary, get some picks and create some turnovers.
Have you taken a look at the scout yet on Lindsey Wilson?
Yes, sir.
Got a talented quarterback, very poised. Is that going to be one of the keys to be able to get pressure on him?
Yes, sir. We got a good game plan, and I think we'll do well. We, come off a win. You enjoy it, but you can't be too big-headed.
Right.
And so I think that's what we did a little bit last year. And so coming into this game, there's no game before, no game after, just Lindsey Wilson, and that's what we got to focus on.
Last year, Lindsey Wilson got one on you guys, and it was a game that I felt like you guys should have won. Do you guys remember that? Did it leave a bad taste in your mouths as much as it did those of us that were watching? Yes,
sir. Matter of fact, we watched film today on the last drive, and it just kind of hurt you because
sure.
We made a lot of stupid mistakes, and they scored on the last second, and it just hurt your feelings, and
absolutely
kind of motivates you for this game coming up.
Does it help? Does it truly help a college student athlete, a college football player? A game like that, a loss like that, does it truly help you get focused for this week's game?
I think you grow from it, and you learn from your mistakes. And yeah, yes, sir.
Taylor Woods, he's one of the defensive standouts for this University of Pikeville team. They'll be in action Saturday at the Hambly Complex. Home opener, you'll want to be there. If you haven't seen this brand of Bears football, you want to check it out. And Taylor Woods, he'll wear 48. He is on the defensive side, typically on the right end, and typically he'll be making lots of tackles. So check it out this Saturday. Taylor, best of luck to you this week. to the defensive unit this week and the rest of the year. We're looking for a lot of wins this year from this U-Pike team.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Taylor Woods, he's in the Bears' den, 6'3", 220-pound junior defensive standout. When we come back, we'll go to the offensive side of the ball. Shantez Johnson, you've heard that name before. In the Bears' den, it is the Dudley Hilton Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. Welcome back to the Dudley Hilton Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. As we stay in the Bears' den, we talk to Bears players, and joined now by a part of the offensive unit, Shantez Johnson. He's a 6'4", 205-pound sophomore out of Cincinnati, one of the offensive standouts. And earlier on the highlights, we saw a couple of those highlights. A Trevor Hoskins to Shantez Johnson pass. We've said that a few times over the last couple of years. And Shantez, welcome to the Dudley Hilton Show.
Glad to be here.
Starting to become a regular part of the highlights on the Dudley Hilton Show. Had 24 catches, 450 yards, 6 touchdowns as a freshman last year. Averaged a team high nearly 19 yards per catch. And so far this year, 5 catches, 115 yards, 2 touchdowns. Trevor Hoskins, he seems to know where Shantez Johnson is at all times.
Yeah, we kind of built the chemistry together this year. Last year we didn't really have a big chemistry.
Shantez, you're out of Cincinnati. Power football. A lot of tradition in the Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky area for great high school football. Let's talk about your playing background. When did you first put on the pads? And let's talk about your playing days.
I think I started my sophomore year, high school.
So you were a little bit of a latecomer.
Yeah, that's when I really started playing football.
Okay.
Started playing wide out and strong safety. I didn't really play too good like my first 2 years. Like my senior year, really, when I came around.
Sure.
I had a big senior year. So.
Where did you play your high school football?
Robert A. Taft.
That's right, Taft High School. And it's certainly one that we've heard about. 6'4", 205 pounds. Mid-South Conference, you're a giant in the wide receiving core. A lot of the defensive backs in the conference, 5'8", 5'9", and that's some of the bigger defensive backs. What kind of advantage does that give you in the secondary?
I think I'm more of a deep threat. You know, you can throw the ball deep and I'll go get it, you know, just throw it up high.
One of the highlights we saw against Campbellsville, number one, you broke a tackle from one of those smaller defensive backs and then carried another one into the end zone with you. 205-pounders aren't supposed to do that.
I don't know what to say.
Truly powered your way in. Yeah. One of the scores, and that was the go-ahead score. At that time, the game was tied. Let's back up just a moment and let's talk Shantez Johnson, the student. Student athlete, let's talk about what your major is and what you want to do when you finish your playing career and you've got that degree in hand.
My major is computer science, but I'm looking to opt out of that and change it to sports management.
Sports management.
Something I feel like I can relate more to.
Of course, if you're involved in sports, I think the sports management program is becoming very popular, and then a master's program coming down the road for that as well. Shantez, we talked about Trevor Hoskins. He's an experienced quarterback, a senior, provides a lot of leadership on the field, obviously because of that experience. How much does that factor to the entire offensive unit, his presence in the huddle and on the field?
Well, I think we all want to. We know this is his senior year, so we want to, you know, go out with a bang for him, you know, because he puts his heart into the game. So I feel like, you know, whenever he need me, you know, just throw the ball my way and I'll go get it for him.
Do you understand that your receivers coach, Justin Lamb, he's one of the all-time receivers at Pikeville.
Yeah.
He's 5th all-time on the career touchdown list. Shantez Johnson, as a sophomore, you're 1 career touchdown behind your receivers coach.
I didn't even know that.
There's something for you to take in preparation with Lindsey Wilson and maybe a couple, and you'll overtake your receivers coach on
My
the
goal coming in was, to get two a game. So
there you go. One short last week, but Campbellsville, a tremendous defensive game. Let's talk about preparing for Lindsey Wilson from an offensive side. You've been around. You were with the team last year. Tough loss to Lindsey. You basically know what they're going to do. As the offensive unit prepares for Lindsey Wilson, take us through some of the steps that we may not have a chance to see. You guys get your first look at Lindsey Wilson when? Maybe a scouting report or film.
We watch film on them. They play a lot of cover 3, but I think they're planning on double teaming me because, I'm really sending out a message to the Mid-South Conference, though. You're going to have to double me this year.
How does the team do that? Last week we talked with Coach Al Holland. While you are one of Trevor Hoskins' favorite targets, 6'4", big guy, good hands out there, and tough to bring down. Yeah, teams are going to want to double team, but Jordan Amos is out there, Napier's out there, Hill's out there, Big Slush is out there, who really hasn't even been gone to that much this year, but he's another weapon. And then the running game, it's going to become difficult for teams to double team you.
Yeah, I feel like our receivers are good enough to beat any defensive backs in the conference. So, if they want to double me, they can go ahead. But, he could throw the ball the other way, too.
It's a point that we brought up last week. There are so many offensive weapons that it's really going to make it difficult to double up anyone. Shantez Johnson, what are some of your goals for this season? What are some of the team's goals offensively as we head through the Mid-South Conference?
My only big goal is to win the conference. I'm not a big stacks type of guy. I just want to, win the conference and, make it to the playoffs.
Is that something this team can do this year?
I feel like we can because, we had a young team last year, but, everybody has their year under their belt. So, I feel like everybody knows what we have to do, to get to the playoffs.
Had a big win over Bluefield. Had to rally for that win. Obviously didn't have much scout. Campbellsville, tradition-rich team. How much do you feel like this team improved from Bluefield to Campbellsville?
I feel like I'm not really sure because we kind of had we struggled sometimes doing the Campbellsville game. So I don't know if maybe need to practice a little harder or something.
You're not supposed to be peaking just yet. It's just the third week of the season. Shantez Johnson, 6'4", 205-pound sophomore out of Cincinnati. He wears 19. You'll see him at one of the wideout spots Saturday as the Bears host Lindsey Wilson College at the Hamley Complex. It's a 1:30 kickoff. Get there early, wear your black and orange, and let's go Bears. Shantez, best of luck to you and the Bears the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Shantez Johnson on the Dudley Hilton Show. When we come back, we'll talk to Papa Bear. Dudley Hilton, when we return, we'll get the scout on Lindsey Wilson. It's coming up. The Dudley Hilton Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless.
As a mother of two, I have emphasized education to my children. I have personally watched U-Pike grow for more than 30 years. If you are a graduate of any high school in southeastern Kentucky and have earned 60 college credit hours, you can now receive an affordable 4-year degree right here at home with the new Kentucky Cole County Scholarship. This is our scholarship, our time, and our university. Visit upike.edu.
Welcome back into the Dudley Hilton Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. The Bears coming off a 14-7 win over Campbellsville, 2-0 on the season, and Coach Dudley Hilton rejoins us now. Coach, a couple of players in the Bears den tonight. Taylor Woods, he's a guy that's all over the field. Defensively, we see somebody in the backfield. A lot of times it's going to be that number 48. He's just got a nose for it.
Well, one good thing about Taylor, we've had him in 2 or 3 different positions since Coach Brown's been here and I've been here, but we've moved him from D-line back to linebacker, now back to D-line, and he can play about anywhere. And, if you're athletic like he is, it's good to have those kind of guys here. But he's a quiet leader. He just goes out there every day and works hard. And this is his 3rd year, and he shows his maturity. He goes to class. He gets his grades. He comes to practice and does the things on the football field, and that's what you need right there.
Very well-spoken young man as well as we talk about, Coach Dane Brown mentioned it as well, recruiting the right kind of kids.
Right.
Taylor Woods is one of those kids.
Right, that's for sure.
Shantez Johnson on the offensive side, well-spoken, young man's just an athlete, and he's a great advantage in the Mid-South Conference, 6'4" at that wideout spot.
Well, you know, again, he'd have all the reasons in the world to thinks he's above everybody else, but he's not. He's one of our Bears that he comes out every game and every practice and does what it takes for us to help win football games. And again, it's not all about him. And he and again, and I'm saying that because so many kids have success, then it turns out to be all about them, you know. But Shantez has handled his success very well. The kids looks up to Shantez, and he just goes about his business. He gets his grades. He goes to class. He comes to football practice, and you know, if anybody needs to miss, Shantez Johnson and Taylor Woods could take off a few days, but they don't want to take off. They want to come out every day and just work at it, and they want to go to class. They want to do what it takes to get an education and be a part of the football program. And just like Coach Brown says, we need to recruit more kids like these two, because two dandies, and you know, we got a lot of good kids on our football team.
Sure. We're going to meet a lot of those during the course of the season. Two of the dandies here tonight, Shantez Johnson and Taylor Woods. You mentioned as we were looking at the highlights, these two young guys, they make big plays, but they act like they've been there before. It's not all about showtime when they do score a touchdown, or Woods, in his case, get a sack. It's all about, that's part of the game.
Well, I'm going to say, Andrew, we had 3 penalties on the road last week, and I don't know if you can go back, how many years you can go back to the University of Pikeville. I had 3 penalties, but on the road we had 3 penalties, and you know, and I think a couple of them was offsides, and I don't know what the other one was, but you know, again, our kids has been there. We've done that as coaches. We don't tolerate that. And, you know, again, that's some things that we've improved. Have we held our kids back a little bit? Yeah, a little bit. But, again, as a fan, you don't want to come and say it all about you or all about one player. And I think, you know, that's what we got. And, you know, these two, like I said, when Shantez goes in the end zone, he gets back and, hey, Coach, throw it to me again, Coach. I'll do it again. Taylor Woods, when he makes a big play, he gets back in the huddle and come back and do it again. Don't have time to jump around and carry on, because the next play is the most important play of your career.
Lindsey Wilson, Saturday home opener for this Bear team at the Hambley Complex. What will preparation be like for your team for Lindsey this week?
Well, we've really tried to get excited for them, and and try to build up, because it is our first home game. We went on the road, beat a kind of a new football program, but still had a good win at Bluefield. That was a hostile place, being on their first place, and then going back to Campbellsville. We feel like we run Campbellsville's season last year, and we knew we was going back in the Hornets' nest there, and they came out very fired up, but we answered the call, and I think this week here we got a team coming in that came here last year and beat us, and took it to us and won, and that's all you can say. They came here at Pikeville and beat us last year. So again, we ought to be we ought to try to really be up for this game, and I just hope our fans and our community are here to support. But it's just really our football team. We're going to get them ready. If you don't come, you're going to miss a heck of a football game.
If you haven't seen this brand of Bears football, you have missed something. You want to see it Saturday at the Hambley Complex. The Bears will host Lindsey Wilson College. It's a 1:30 kickoff, and we'll be on the air on Z-Rock 107.5 beginning at 1:10. Coach Dudley Hilton, 2-0 start. We're loving it. Let's get another one against Lindsey this Saturday.
Thank you, Andrew. And we just we're going after them.
Coach Dudley Hilton. And special thanks tonight to defensive coordinator Dane Brown, Shantez Johnson, and Taylor Woods, our guest on the Dudley Hilton Show. It's been presented by Appalachian Wireless. Saturday, 1:30 kickoff at the Hambley Complex. Lindsey Wilson takes on our Bears. We want to see you there. You've been tuned to the Dudley Hilton Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. I'm Andrew Joyce. Good evening, everyone.